In this next video, we're going to use Adobe XD to flesh out our sketch a little bit and bring it into the digital environment. As a reminder, in this video we're going to create a wireframe for the Vanity Fair website, a screenshot of which is seen here. In the last video, we created this sketch of the Vanity Fair website that we're going to use to base our wireframe off of in Adobe XD. So we're basically going to recreate all of the elements in our sketch using the software. A quick note, for all of the text that we need for our wireframe, we're going to use something called Greeked text, which is a type of dummy text often used by graphic designers to replicate actual copy or text. You can grab Greek text from lots of places online. We're going to use a generator in this tutorial found at loremipsum.io, and we'll just go ahead here and generate 5 paragraphs of dummy copy, and that'll be more than we need, and we'll be able to come back here as often as we need to grab text to use in our wireframes. So let's go ahead and reopen Adobe XD, and you'll remember that we created a custom canvas at 1280 by 5000 pixels, and here's our canvas. So the first thing that I want to do is just go ahead and save this. So I'll go up to File, Save, and I have a folder that I'm working in, and we'll call it Vanity Fair Wireframe. And you'll notice that the extension is .xd, which stands for Adobe XD, or Adobe Experience Design. So what we're saving here is going to be a native Adobe XD file, which means that it'll save it with all of our elements, selectable. We'll be able to come back and edit this file in the future, but we won't really be able to open and view it anywhere outside of this program. In order to do that, we'll need to export our wireframe as a graphic image, which we'll do towards the end of the tutorial. For now, we'll just go ahead and save this as vanityfairwireframe.xd. Okay, great. So the first thing that I want to work on today is I want to start creating our header in XD. So let's take a look at our sketch. We can see that the header has a number of elements. It has our Vanity Fair logo. It has a navigation bar under it with 3 links, and each item in the navigation bar has a link, an arrow, and a little line. We have these 2 decorative elements along the side that advertise different stories. We have a couple social icons, and then we have a search bar. So we're going to lay down the basic elements for the header now, and we'll come back a little bit later in the tutorial to lay down some of the more decorative elements. So the first thing I want to do is get this logo inserted into our wireframe. So I grabbed the logo using a great screen capture program called Sketch that is free. I believe it's only available for Mac, but there are plenty of free screen capture programs and browser extensions available all over the place for all kinds of computers if you look around. So that's how I grabbed our logo. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to Adobe XD. And here's our logo. I just have it saved as vanityfairlogo.png. And I'm just going to drag it onto our canvas, and it'll go ahead and pop itself there into Adobe XD. You'll notice as we move around that Adobe XD is trying to help us center and align different objects using these guidelines, which is really great. So we're going to go ahead and make this logo a little bit smaller. You can see if I can grab the sides and make things larger or smaller. You want to make sure you're holding down the Shift button the whole time that you're doing this so that you're proportionately resizing things. And then I can kind of move this back over in the middle. And again, Adobe XD is going to try to help me figure out when I've centered it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit here so that we're working someplace, so we can see where we're working. Okay, I'll zoom out just a little bit. Okay. So the next elements we want to lay down are our navigation. So for text in this exercise, we're going to use 2 different fonts. We're going to use Helvetica as our sans serif font, and we're going to use Georgia as our serif font. And those will just be stand-ins in our wireframe and some later on down the road, graphic designers would choose actual type treatments and fonts. So if I choose my type tool and just click on the screen, I'm able to start typing, and I'm just going to type the word link. And you'll see that for the default, it comes across as Helvetica New, which I'm going to change just to regular old Helvetica here. And we can change the appearance and the font over here in this panel. I'll go ahead and make it bold, and I'm going to increase the size to 24. And down here we can change a few more things about the appearance, including the fill color. So right now it's a gray. I'm going to go ahead and move this down and make it a black. And there's our first link. We can select that and move it around wherever we want. Now I'm going to draw a line, and again, if you hold down Shift, it'll draw a perfectly straight line. And we can come over here to this panel to change a few things about the line. We could make it black or whatever color we wanted. We could also increase the size, right? We could make it 4, and it would be a much thicker line. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and make it a 1 pixel line. And I can go ahead and move that around. And we're going to leave a little bit of room here because we're going to insert an arrow in between the link and the line a little bit down the road. Okay, so now we need 2 more of those links on our canvas and our nav bar. And the quickest way to create those would be just to select link, and I can hold down the Shift button so I can select multiple items at once. And I'll select that again as well, the line. And now I can copy and paste those elements just by holding down the Alt button, sort of moving my mouse. And as long as I keep the Alt button held down longer than my mouse button, it will go ahead and make a nice copy of that. And I can do that again. And now we've got our 3 links. And we don't need that final line. We can go ahead and select all of them. We've got a couple options up here for alignment. We could align all of these items vertically in the middle, which is what we want to do. And we can also sort of move all of them around as a group to try to center them underneath the Vanity Fair logo. And again, XD is trying to help us figure out how to do that, as we can see with this guideline. Okay, so the next thing rather that we want to add is we want to add a little search bar over here. We're going to wait to add in our social icons till later. So the search bar consists, if we go ahead and look back at our sketch, it consists of a line, the word search, and a magnifying glass. So for now, we'll just add in the line and the word search, which is really similar to what we've got here. So again, we can just copy and paste these items, drag them over to this side of the header, and we can change that word link to say search. I want to bring it over a little bit closer to the line, and we're good to go there. Okay, so the final element we want to add in our header for now are these 2 lines at the bottom that sort of encase the whole header and separate them from the main content of the website. So in order to do that, I'm going to just draw a couple straight lines, and they're not going to quite go all the way to the edge of the canvas. And again, I'm holding down the Shift button to ensure that I'm drawing perfectly straight lines. I will change this to be a black line. I'm going to go ahead and change it to be 2 pixels in width. Hit Enter, and there's our line. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this line as well. I'm going to do it in a slightly different way. So I can hit Command C or Edit Copy, and then Command V or Edit Paste, and that's going to copy and paste a copy of that object right on top of the original. And now I can just mouse down a few of the copied line, and we've got our 2 lines. And maybe I want to select those and move them up a little bit to reduce some of that white space. Okay, and now we've really got a great start on our header here. And we can go ahead and save to make sure that we've saved all of our work to this point.